Welcome in, everyone. I am the Crypto Bull God, and this is all in the charts. If you appreciate the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, drop me a comment, and click that bell icon for all notifications to know when I go live each and every single weekday. Well, guys, it's a pretty monumental day today for a couple reasons. Today was my official last day at that horrible, horrible job I had, and I never want to see or we'll have to put up with that man's face again. Cheers. Cheers. I'll tell you, it's really interesting. I think I shared this with you guys before. It's really interesting to actually weigh your wine and see how many calories you're consuming. So keeps you in check. And the second, just like we're having a passing of the guard here and I'm transitioning into a new and exciting environment with people who I think will be great to work with, we're transitioning, it seems, away from the dull price action that has been going on the past 63 roughish days into what looks to be a monumental move in the markets today. So we're definitely going to be taking a look at a lot of the bullish price action that's been coming in today. It's funny. I had just said this in yesterday's live stream, guys. The two biggest risks that I currently see in the market based on what I'm reading and seeing on Twitter or X. Number one, people getting greedy to the downside and waiting for much lower price targets. And number two, getting complacent in this market, getting away from the computer and not paying attention to price action. You need to be paying attention to key charts in this market because the market, that was a shitty snap. The market can change on a dime. And I've told you this time and time again. All right? All it takes is one day for Bitcoin to be up 7, 8, 9, 10%, and you're going to see this market go fucking crazy. It's going to begin to go crazy. Now look, we still have a lot of work to do here, guys. And we're going to get into the charts and talk about key price levels and where we're at within the charts. But this is the sort of price action I'm talking about. And I've been here long enough that while I'll never be able to tell you with certainty ever, even if I've been studying markets for 30 years, I'll never be able to tell you with certainty what's going to happen. I can tell you after being in prior cycle movements of Bitcoin and crypto, I was saying the same thing, guys. If you were here on All in the Charts in late 2023, before my surgery in that August, September, October timeframe, I was saying, guys, everyone is relentless about this fucking CME gap at $25,000. It does not need to fill. What happened? We ran way up in price, right? $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, right? The same sort of thing is going on right now. I'm not telling you that we can't go down to 48,000. We've talked about all this in prior weeks, guys. We've talked about, of course, there's a probability we could be going down to 48, 52, 53, or whatever the case is. But I said this is what everyone is talking about. And I said the two biggest concerns I have are people that are getting greedy with the downside targets, and they're going to be capitulating as we continue going higher, in my opinion. And the second concern that I have is that people are not paying attention to these markets and they change just like that. Now, will today's price action be that pivotal point that sort of starts to launch us much higher in these markets? We'll have to see. But for right now, things are looking very encouraging, and that's what we're going to get into. Oof. Let's fucking go. Let it flow through my veins. I read that before I joined the live stream. That was. I enjoyed reading that comment. What's up, Juan? What's up, Juan? Yeah, it was just a matter of time, Oof, with this whole X payments thing. My price prediction, or where I see Doge going, is well north of $1. I think at one point I looked at $1.20. But I think Doge is absolutely going to be going well over $1. Yes, well over $1. So we'll have to see. Alex, good to see you. This is 2 days. 2 days in a row, brother. 2 days in a row. Good to see you. What's up, Track? Always good to see you. And Todd, as always, super chats are never expected, but always appreciated. So with that being said, you've been here since 2013. Jesus Christ, Trek. All right, you a real OG. I'm not the OG. You the OG. All right, let's get into over a dollar. Oof, over a dollar in my opinion. Let's get into the price action on Bitcoin. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to focus on this 12-hour chart like we typically do. What have I been saying to you? Well, to kind of just rehash what I've been saying the past few days, price was just coiling up in here, right? And more than likely, what did I say? I just said this yesterday. I said the two most likely scenarios that I saw happening was either a strong move up, which is what we got, or sort of this move down, chopping down here for a little bit, and then we'd move up. So now that we've gotten the movement up and we're finally in this orange box or orange rectangle that I've noted here, the question is, what do we want to see next? Well, I mean, ideally what we want to see to further convince ourselves that this is the true signs of a trend reversal back to the upside. There's kind of two things I'm going to be looking for and you should be looking for in the charts. First off, we want to watch and again, this falls back on basic technical analysis, right? I'm not pulling anything out here that's overly technical and making myself sound smarter than what I am. I'm just pointing to two facts in the charts that we want to see in Bitcoin that you would look at in any chart when you're performing technical analysis, okay? The first is this huge area of resistance, we want to see it hold to support. So right now, I mean, it would be monumentally bullish if we could stay above 65,600. I'm not expecting that. But what I would like to see is prices essentially maintain themselves right around 63,800, right? So if we see some sort of a pullback tomorrow, I want to see us close at and above 63,800, right? I've spoken about this in the past, right? Let's maintain some healthy consolidation in here and then continue up. So that's step number one. Step number two is, and again, this is just basic technical analysis. Do you see all of these lower highs here? We want to begin to invalidate these lower highs. So what we want to first do is close above this one, which is around 65,500. We want to close above here, which would be 67,000. So then what we're doing essentially is we're invalidating a lower high. And as we continue to invalidate these lower highs, you would have to be a complete moron not to see that this is a trend reversal to the upside, right? While there are no certainties in charting, the probabilities are increasingly working in our favor if these things begin to pan out in the chart. Again, in my opinion, and I'll continue to hit on this because I was listening today to something that made me think that you need to be really careful about who you follow on YouTube, and I've hit on this before, YouTube and Twitter or X. That was funny how I said Twitter. Twitter. Be careful who you follow on Twitter. The number of followers is not necessarily indicative of the quality of content that these people put out. Keep in mind that the way that the intrawebs work is that it rewards people for engagement, and people will work the system to farm engagement in many cases and have a larger following that is really otherwise indicative of a true value that they bring to the market. Just be careful who you follow. But where I was going with this is, I mean, you would have to be a complete moron that if we begin to close above 67,000 in particular, and then we start to close above 72,000, okay, we start to invalidate these lower highs, you would have to be a complete moron to short this market. At some point, the bears in the market, or I wouldn't even call them necessarily bears, I would call them people who were waiting for the price targets down here, which is still a possibility. These people are going to increasingly be sweating and they're going to have to capitulate as we continue going higher. At some point, you got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. As an authentic educator in this space, one of the things that I know that I've come across in a way to you guys that you can count on me for is to remain true and honest with you in terms of accurate and non-accurate calls on projects and views in the market, right? I've come out here and said, hey, man, this didn't, like I've been sort of tongue-in-cheek joking about Casper, right? Casper, that chart looks like a steaming pile of shit, okay, especially the BTC pairing. And so I own that, though. I know I spoke positive things about the chart, how it looked like it was setting up for a trend reversal to the upside, and it didn't work out, right? So you got to own those things. But I don't know where I was going with that. I don't even know where I was. This is what happens when you go live. Sometimes you forget your train of thoughts. I'll blame it on the foggy mind. I'll blame it on the foggy mind of my current state. But in any case, I know when to hold them and when to fold them, right? There are people who are just sticking to a bearish narrative and sticking to things needing to go much lower, and there are even people who feel like the cycle top is in, which is nuts to me. None of the, again, I just want to bring you back to this. I'm not giving you my emotional opinion based on where I want to see my portfolio to go, okay? I'm not telling you that the market hasn't topped because my portfolio hasn't hit the valuations that I believe it will hit, right? This is why I came out with this video. I came out with 6 empirical data points. None of these things have flashed. That leaves me feeling very convicted that whether the blow-off top is in July, August, October, December, or March of next year, the shit hasn't topped yet, and we still have a lot higher to go, all right? So people that think that the top is in, or people think, it's entertaining sometimes to me. I just have to stop paying attention. But anyway, this is what we want to watch for on Bitcoin, okay? If we go to the price indicators here, we can see, we spoke to this the other day, MACD's starting to curl up on this 12-hour, which is great to see, and the RSI is starting to recover up towards 70. If we go to, it's too chilled, I'll let that sit. If we go to the daily here, what I would say is right now, price on the daily has retained price action under the 50 simple moving average, which is this purple line. Again, the purple moving average, 50, which is a significant moving average on a daily chart, or really any time frame, that price confluence is lining up essentially with the midpoint of this area of price confluence and resistance here. This is a major area of price confluence. This 63.8 to 68, major area of price confluence. And I told you guys, okay, I've been consistent in saying this, when you can really start to get bullish, when you can be oof, and you can just fucking feeling it going through your veins. Okay? Just a little moment there. When you can really start to feel it going through your veins is when you start to see candle body closes at and above $68,000. That's the key area. Guys, we're like 5% away from that. We're 5% away. And again, I'm not talking about a wick. I'm talking about a candle body close on the daily. That is when you can really start to have some conviction in this market. Interestingly enough, let's take a look at Ethereum real quick. I'm starting to think that maybe the altcoin to begin looking at more so and pay more attention to than Ethereum is Solana than Ethereum. So right now we're seeing some decent price action in Ethereum. It's up 4.71%. Okay, getting some good price action. You can see Solana's up 10.5%. Again, we want to break this downward area of resistance. There isn't too much new to share here. We see the stochastic RSI is flattening out here. Of course, this is on the weekly. If we go to the daily, we're just chipping and chopping here. Chipping and chopping, waiting for a large move to come into Ethereum. If we take a look at Solana, though, and for this cycle, we may look back on things and say, actually, as much as it's still important to pay attention to Ethereum, I will continue to beat that drum because of the historical significance of when Ethereum tends to move and break all-time highs, what happens in the market. We may find hindsight 2020 looking back that Solana was actually the major altcoin to be paying attention to, not Ethereum. Solana has been making major moves since last year. Look at these higher highs and higher lows coming in. You can see we're beginning to break above all of these areas of resistance here. I mean, this was, guys, this was your reload zone. Anything between this 120 to 150 area, this is your reload zone. We're still in a reload zone right now. course, you never want to chase a trend. You shouldn't be buying Solana up 10.5% today. You should allow prices to come to you. On the daily, again, trying to fight a 50 simple moving average, which is the same sort of commentary I had on Bitcoin. If we go to the weekly, though, I think there's more value, especially on these altcoins where you have a higher degree of volatility, kind of focusing on those higher time frames. You can see on the weekly here, we're starting to punch above 150, and we really don't have much higher to go until the market just moves so fast until we're well above 200 and then challenging all-time highs. If we go to I'm just curious, if we go to the monthly... Yeah, now this was not a bearish engulfing candle. Really, really interesting to see how this monthly prints. Very, very interesting to see how the monthly prints. How about the 2-week? Okay. Yeah, it'll be very interesting. If we take a look, I want to take a look at the Solana BTC relativity chart with you guys, because I haven't looked at this in a long time. Haven't really been paying as much attention to it as I should be. Yeah, we're maintaining this area of price confluence right along here. Again, if you really want to take an honest assessment of how strong your altcoin is, go to the Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Solana pairing, right? We worked through an example, it was like maybe a week and a half ago, we worked through an example where I actually used Casper and I looked at the BTC pairing. And then we looked at Caspa because I was getting very irritated with a lot of the saltiness in the Caspa community. And we looked at the Caspa BTC chart and we assessed the relative strength there and how great everything looked. And then we looked at that Casper BTC chart and we saw how terrible it looked, right? If you really want to assess the honest strength within your altcoin. And again, I think one of the smartest things, one of the things, never financial advice, maybe this is financial advice, no, never financial advice. But if you want to increase the likelihood of your success in this market, number one, you have to take ownership for your investments, know what you're investing in, know your investment strategy, and have an educated thesis. But number two, pay less attention to the influencer who's constantly shilling a project to feel convicted about it. Instead, do your own education and research and ask yourself some real key fundamental questions, one of which should be, how strong is the chart? How strong is the chart? And there's no way, if you're assessing an altcoin and comparing it to Bitcoin, comparing it to Ethereum, comparing it to Solana, and the chart looks something like this, there's no way you can't walk away from that feeling convicted that you're in something extremely strong. With that being said, let's take a look at Caspa. I want to take a look at Caspa because it is my number one altcoin. I have a high degree of conviction this thing is going to break at least into the top 20, but I think more than likely it's going to break into the top 12 to 15, if not top 10. Right now on the weekly, MACD is beginning to flatten out. Great that the stochastic RSI is starting to show signs of life here, trying to get above 20. Typically when we get this stochastic RSI, now I sound like a broken record, I've spoken to this on so many different charts. You can see that when we've gotten positive crosses above 20 here, they have led to massive runs up in price. So could we see something similar? We'll have to find out. But this is on the weekly. And speaking of Bitcoin pairings, let's see. I haven't looked at this in many days. Let's see how probably the last time I looked at this was with you guys. Let's take a look at the CAS BTC relativity chart. Again, we're just hanging out right where we should be, right? We're forming a base where our prior all-time high was, right? Well, this is our prior all-time high, but the high before that, right? This is a beautiful looking chart, and it also looks like it wants to start turning back up looking at the price indicators here. If we take a look at the CAS, I bet you the CAS Sol chart is sitting right on support. Right in the support region. Look at this, guys. This is perfect. We're right on this historic line that we talked about before. And if we go to the CAS, one more. If we go to the CAS ETH chart, I bet you it's actually performing in the past week or so better. Yeah, you can see I have a line drawn right here. We deviated below it. We actually went down to right about there, which was a prior area of confluence here. And we've since gotten right back above this green line here. So again, and the way you could actually draw this, that ascending channel is invalidated. What you could draw is something like that. Yeah, I mean, CAS just continues to be one of the strongest charts, guys. Again, if you take a look at, like, let's just be realistic here, okay? I'm not going to give you timing on this, but let's have a big boy, big girl conversation here. If we go to CoinMarketCap and we look at something like Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, I'm actually going to target in on Bitcoin Cash. Now, this thing is sitting at a $9 billion market cap. Who knows where this thing is going to top out? I have not done any recent analysis to figure out a cycle top for Bitcoin Cash. But if we come down the list here to Caspa, which is now sitting at 40, it's been fluctuating in this 45 to 38 area. It's sitting at 40. It's sitting at 2.9 billion. Okay? So just to catch up, again, just doing some basic math, the 2.9 billion relative to this current valuation at we're going to call it 9.2 actually, rounding up, divided by 2.9. So it would have to do a 3x if Bitcoin Cash's valuation stayed stagnant. If Caspa did a 3x and got somewhere close to 36 cents, it would jump all the way up into the top 15 spot. And again, based on the valuations that I've given you guys, if you actually go through the homework and do the math on it, and you follow the video that I did where I'm projecting out, by the time everything is all said and done and we're done, this truly is the end of the cycle and we're going through a massive bear market. In my opinion, Caspa is going to be hitting $2 to $4. And you start to do the math on that, it's very, very, very reasonable, right? And that's why I will continue to cover Caspa. It is my largest altcoin conviction. CBG, does that mean you're more convicted on Caspa outpacing the Holy Crypto Trinity, HBAR, Mana, and One? Yes. Does that mean that you're more bullish on it outpacing from current valuations Ethereum, Solana, and Bitcoin? Yes. And will it outpace XRP? Yes. So, again, I'm going to continue to cover this and hammer home on it because I think fundamentally and technically this thing is extremely sound. Other projects that we can take a look at. The other thing I wanted to take a look at with you guys, given some of the strong movements we're seeing in the market today, I have not evaluated the DXY, the Dixie today, the dollar index. Let's take a look and see if we're seeing some weakness, which we should be. Let's go to a weekly. I mean, look what I have drawn out. Look what it's doing here. And maybe we'll take a quick look at a few memes since Oof was asking a good question there on Doge. I mean, look at what I have drawn out here. Does this not look like it's setting up for this? Sure looks like it's rolling over to me, right? And again, given that inverse relationship that exists between the DXY and crypto and risk-on assets, this is setting up perfectly with the weakness that we're seeing here to correspond with the strength that I'm anticipating coming into the summer here. Now, again, there are a lot of people out there, and I'm not saying this won't be the case, okay? There are a lot of people, I'm going to be careful when I say a lot, but enough that I've read on X and Twitter, haven't been as active with everything going on in my life that I shared. And full disclosure, I think I've shared this with you, but I've had a little bit of time off here, and I've tried to, take some time for myself to kind of recharge the batteries, given everything I've been through. But remember, back here, I just want to remind you guys, now I'm going to have good calls and bad calls, right? But as people were talking about this price action being boring and we were just going to do this going into the halving, I said bullshit, right? And we ended up going up, which is what I was expecting us to do. We did exactly what I was expecting, right? If you actually follow the bars pattern of generalities of what I was expecting, it literally followed it move for move, okay? May looks like it might be the deviation month. We'll have to see. But there are a lot of people right now, enough, that I'm seeing which are pretty much expecting this. Us really not to do anything until maybe we start to get here. So basically, until we start to get into the mid to late third quarter, fourth quarter, us not to start to move up. Now, again, we'll have to be patient here. I'm not saying that that can't happen. This one day of price action is not telling us anything monumentally significant. I've pointed out what you need to start watching for to start having a high degree of conviction in this market, right? I'm not getting overly excited. Oof. I love Oof's comment. Let it flow through my veins. I'm not there yet. It feels nice to see a green day, but I want to start seeing Bitcoin closing at and above 68,000 for me to start feeling confident. And for this DXY, and I certainly, if you pressed me and said, do you think we're just going to stagnate for the next 3 months and we're not going to see any significant price action until August or September? I would say no. I don't think that's going to be the case, but we'll have to see. The DXY right now looks like it really wants to roll over. You can see the MACD is tilting down, stochastic RSI. We'll have to see how this weekly prints, but you can see, that this is general weakness. We have a low, we have a high, we have a higher low, we have a lower high. Okay, so we'll have to see. What did I want to? Oh, so the other thing. Let's see what we have in the comments, and then we're going to very quickly, because we're already pressing up against 26 minutes. Keep in mind, guys, and if you haven't already, hit the thumbs up button. Click that bell icon for all notifications. I keep saying this, but I'm pretty sure tomorrow I am going to live stream much earlier in the day. So if you want the opportunity to ask any questions during live TA Q&A, make sure you click that bell icon for all notifications. Before I cover a couple meme coins here, let me see who's in the comments, because I'm getting a decent amount of engagement. It's funny, when we have a green day, we get a lot more engagement, right? Donkey Dong, nice to see you. Frankie, you're a smart man. Your largest alt holdings are Caspa and Solana. You're an extremely intelligent individual. Or this could be the biggest bull market. I can't see your comment. What are you saying? This fucking thing blocks my... We'll have to see. One of the things that really irritates me, I've come out and said this, and even people who I respect, who like Michael Saylor, I'll disagree with them in terms of my view of him. This is the kind of bullshit I can't see. Now, he thinks Bitcoin's going to hit 350,000 in 2024. Like, what drugs is this guy on? Bitcoin, just mark my words, and you can come back to me and tell me how wrong I was in this statement. But Bitcoin is not hitting $350,000 this year. It's not going to hit anything close to $350,000 this year. This guy, the more I listen to him, just because he is a Bitcoin advocate, I think people put on blinders. First off, he's a maximalist. Secondly, he seems in many ways... I should do a video on just all the things that irk me about this guy. Something is off with him, in my opinion. That's just what I think. I'm not saying some sort of Ponzi scheme will come out years from now, but it'll be interesting. I should earmark this video. It would not shock me... I keep saying the word shock, like the Shockmaster from WCW. It would not shock me if several years from now something comes out about this guy. He just seems off his rocker to me. He just does. He just seems off to me. And he makes these fucking moronic statements. Like, you can be bullish. I just don't understand people who are illogical. It would be like, I just shared with you that, Caspa is my strongest altcoin conviction holding, right? I'm very convicted on it. And a $2 to $4 price target is very reasonable in my opinion. It would be like me coming out with Caspa and saying, Caspa's going to hit $20 this cycle. Get ready for it. Like, you can be bullish and supportive of a project and also exercise something I like to call logic and common sense. These sorts of statements by this prominent figure is neither logical or exercises common sense. It displays I don't know the adjective for it, but it displays stupidity. All right, and I think it's also disingenuous. There's no analysis that would support this. It's just stupid to me. And people can't kind of like cut through the different layers here to see. I don't know. That's the stuff in the industry that really bothers me. All right, so let's get to Doge, the king meme coin. Of course, I think that Doge is going to be going well north of $1. It has just begun its ascent. Okay, I'm pointing out the same rounding bottom here as here. Of course, I was buying this hand over fist down here. Where the hell was I buying it at? I'd have to check. I don't want to inaccurately call where my lowest buy target was, but whatever, in the 5, 6, 7 cent range. So, I mean, you can see right now all we're doing is consolidating, waiting for another movement up. This is on the weekly here. We just got a cross down on the MACD. We'd like to see a strong week come in here, have this stochastic RSI begin to cross back up, but let's take a look at the Doge BTC. Let's see how strong this looks. Yeah, I mean, we're right at support here. We have this, look at this massive increasing RSI. This is on the monthly. Dear God, guys. We literally had a massive run up. When you have this much of a, it doesn't matter if you're looking at a Bitcoin pairing chart or a USD chart. When you have this extent of a run up, you need to cool off, right? So we've cooled off, but now we've just based at this level and we're just waiting to break resistance here. Another chart that I was looking at, or I have been looking at, to kind of balance my Shiba Inu and Doge is this chart. So the SHIB Doge chart played this one perfectly. So what I did was, for some of my Doge position, I scaled out of Doge and one in Shiba Inu as we started coming down to this area here, because I knew that more than likely, if this was really a strong breakout, see how we have resistance here? We had resistance here, of course, resistance here. But did I draw this on a different time frame? Why do I have the line like that? Oh, okay. I was going to say, that doesn't make sense. Okay, resistance here, resistance here. I knew more than likely once we had this strong move up, we would retrace all the way down to this level. This would be the opportune time to accumulate more Shiba Inu relative to Doge. So I actually swapped some of my Doge for Shiba Inu, right? And I'm waiting for this to break back to the upside here. And as we start to come into this area, okay, as we start to come into this area, depending where we're at in the cycle, I'll kind of flip back into Doge, right? So this chart here is starting to break to the upside. We'll have to see how this plays out, but it's looking good. Now, one chart I was looking at, which hasn't worked out how I was anticipating, and I think a lot of it just has to do with the immaturity of the price data. You can see here, originally I had a bull flag, ascending triangle for with Pepe. Has not worked out. In fact, it has not held this ascending line of support here, so we have to invalidate that. That has not worked out. So now the question we have to ask ourselves is, when we're comparing the relative valuations of WIF and Pepe, what's going on here? Well, first off, Pepe's been having some really nice moves that have been stronger than WIF in recent weeks. But what do we want to watch for on this chart? Again, this is comparing the valuation of WIF to Pepe. It's WIF USD divided by Pepe USD. And of course, I've multiplied. I screwed up the amount I was multiplying it by, but I didn't want to fuck up the chart. So, as you can see, there's not a lot of price data here. Maybe I'll flip it to a 2-day. So for me, we could come, so Pepe could start making larger moves relative to WIF, which would cause this relativity value to come all the way down here, and I'm fine. If we start to break this level here, this is where I would get concerned. What I would anticipate, based on this chart, is we're going to bottom somewhere around here. And that is when WIF is going to start to break out and make stronger moves relative to Pepe. But again, if you own, I own more WIF than Pepe. But if you own both WIF and Pepe, I mean, for the most part, you really shouldn't care what happens. But based on my early view of this, I took a larger position in WIF relative to Pepe. So we'll have to see how it plays out. But again, when you own both, at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. Let's take a look at WIF real quick. Damn, it is warm in here. I wonder if the AC is... Jesus Christ. Check the AC. All right, so we're just sort of... This is the beautiful thing. As price data evolves, your view of the charts evolve. I'm not making things up. I'm not kind of, you're just... No. The price data has evolved. So I'm simply just... My view changes as the data changes. It's the same thing like I've said to you before as an actuary. As emerging price data comes as an actuary and we're trying to price our products appropriately, as your experience comes in, it changes your view of how rates should look so that you're meeting your pricing targets. Well, in order to meet our profit targets on these charts, we need to evolve our views to align with emerging price data. And as you can see here, we're still in a massive pennant here. I'm not making this shit up. We're still in a massive pennant. You can see what I've drawn here on the daily. So we'll have to see if that pans out. We're still in a massive pennant. Let's take a look at Pepe real quick. Might have to call it a day after that. We're in 36 minutes here. Is everybody having a good day? It is hump day. It is Wednesday. It's not Taco Tuesday. I missed out on Taco Tuesday. Did I tell you guys about the block party that I went to for Cinco de Mayo? That made me think of... Taco Tuesday made me think of the block party that I went to. Oh, my God. I'll always say this. It's amazing the double standards that exist in life. The inappropriate things women can say to men, and if men said those same things to women, it would be sexual harassment. It is kind of comical. That's about right. So we're almost breaking out into new all-time highs here. We're at new all-time highs, right? We were just sort of ranging in here. Ranging, right? Boring. And then all of a sudden, we've had this massive move up. And this is on the daily. This thing looks like it wants to move, guys. Pepe looks like it wants to move. WIF is still deciding. It's consolidating. Ultimately, I think the move's going to be up. But it's still just consolidating. I think at some point, you are going to see a big move up in WIF. Make no mistake about that. But right now, Pepe's just saying, fuck you to the rest of the market. And you can see, ever since we bottomed here, we're waiting for an explosion up here, in my opinion. Now, where's Pepe at? It's like 25? 23. I think this next big move is going to break the top 20. It's going to be at Litecoin, Matic levels. And WIF is down here at 37. Once it starts moving, it gets up into that $4 to $5 range. And that's going to do the same thing. It's going to push it up into this top 20 range. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be exciting and interesting to see which of these coins really starts to break towards that top 10. Will it be Pepe or WIF? My chips have been more heavily stacked in the WIF camp. He does twitch. I agree. Wait, what did you say here? No, man. No. If they were beautiful women my age, then I would be perfectly fine with it. But it's always the older women. All right, guys. I think that's going to do it. So, I mean, we're getting very strong bullish price action here. Let's see. Anything else? Let's see. Is Casper up today? Oh, look at Casper up 4.5%. Woo! Yay, Casper! XRP's hanging out at 52 cents. Yikes. H bar somehow is only at 11 cents, even though I thought it was up to like How fucking high did that go? Yeah, we were all the way up at, yeah. Sell the news event. All right, guys, I think that's going to do it for today, but I will be back tomorrow for TA Q&A, so make sure that you click the bell icon for all notifications to make sure that you know when I go live. Things are starting to turn to the upside. I've given you the key things to watch for. Again, primary focus right now is still on Bitcoin. Again, we're really not going to start to see the altcoins make their big moves. This is nothing. I want to emphasize this before you tune off. These moves are nothing. If you haven't been here before, you know exactly what I'm saying. If you haven't been here before, you have no fucking clue what you're in store for here. We need Bitcoin to start breaking up towards $80,000. When that happens, that, in my opinion, is when you're going to wake up and you're going to see, H bar up, 50, 60, 70%. XRP isn't even moving and doing anything. And then the next day, H bar is correcting by 5, 10, 15%. And then XRP's up 30, 40, 50%, and XLM's up 70%. Those are the days we're waiting for, but we need Bitcoin to start breaking up towards $80,000, all right? So until next time, everybody, let's all spread awareness and carry the education forward. Thank you for the engagement today, and I'll see you back here tomorrow.